So, I wanted to do a quick check-in with you to let you know what I'm starting with. I'm probably not going to vlog too much today. I'm not even sure how much I'll get read today, even though it's my day off this week. This is also one of the busier days off I've had. There's a lot going on with the 25 days of manga, as you guys know I'm doing. So, there is a lot going on. And I'm taking over the Twitter today and some things. So, I don't know how much of my Christmas book I'll actually get read. So, I'm starting with Snowbound at Christmas by Debbie Mason. Debbie Mason is kind of the author that hooked me on the Hallmark Christmas movie style books last year, and so I'm really excited to be diving into one from her backlist that I haven't gotten to yet. This was a republish this year, and I'm really excited to be digging into it. These are really quick. That's why I thought I'd start with it and kind of go from there. So just wanted to do a quick check-in, let you know what I'm starting with, and I will check in when I have more to say.
All right, friends. So, quick check-in. As I was running my errands, I downloaded the audiobook for Snowbound at Christmas because it's a reprint, so of course they had an audiobook for it. So, I'm about 2.5 hours into the audiobook, which is about 100 pages in, so I'm about a third of the way through, I want to say. Pretty close to. And I'm really enjoying it. I really like these characters. So I'm going to kind of focus on this book for the next couple of hours. I've got a little bit of time where I can actually read. And then I've got other errands to run tonight. I'm also doing a little bit of laundry, washing some towels, things like that. Nothing major. But yeah, that's kind of my plan. I do have to go into my work for a little while later tonight. And yeah. So that's kind of the plan there.
I'm trying to make sure I don't have green eyes. I guess we're going this direction and just gonna have to deal with it. So I am now halfway through Snowbound at Christmas, and we're dealing with like a identical twin switcheroo kind of situation where the guy is attracted to the down-to-earth sister rather than the actress sister, and so they're back at home in Christmas, Colorado to film some stuff for the show. The actress sister, she's this whole like delicate flower thing and someone's after her. So the down-to-earth sister is a former cop kind of situation. And anyways, it's so fun. It's so good. You guys, Debbie Mason, and especially this Christmas, Colorado series, I really love the cast and I really love the small town because there's like these women who are like bound and determined to matchmake all of the adults that are single, and it's adorable. And they have all these like solid Christmas traditions. The first book in this series was made a Hallmark Christmas movie last year. The first book is called Welcome to Christmas. I don't remember what they called the movie. I don't think it was the same name. Maybe it was. I don't remember. I'll have to look it up. I'll leave my review for that linked down below because I did a book to movie comparison last year. But yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. I'm loving it, and I'm really excited to see how this plays out. Okay, friends, so I ended up finishing Snowbound at Christmas. I blew through the audiobook. It's about somewhere between 4:15 and 4:30 now, and this was fun. We definitely had the twin switcheroo, but we're dealing with celebrities and being on set and screen times and all sorts of things, and yeah, it's really fun. I can't say it's my favorite Debbie Mason Christmas book, but it's still really good and really solid and really fun. So I ended up really liking it. That's about all I can say about it. I kind of gave you a brief description of it in the last clip, but I'll do that again real quick now that I'm all finished. So we've got Kat. Kat is an ex-cop because earlier on in the series, she had been dating a guy who was actually a part of a Ponzi scheme, and they accused her of being part of it, and so she lost her job as a cop because no one wanted to believe her, and no one was in her corner, so she just kind of gave up. In doing so, since she was jobless, she ended up moving to LA to be the assistant/manager of her celebrity sister, who's an actress, on like a daytime soap, a long-running daytime soap. And she'd been on the show for a long time. Her sister, there are accidents happening on set, so someone seems to be threatening her, and what happens is Grayson Alexander. His cousin calls him up and says, hey, I have an undercover job for you while you're, on hiatus for your job as an FBI agent. This is a security detail. And so he goes undercover on the set as the Famous Sisters co-star because in the beginning, they do think Kat, because of her history with her ex, is in on what's going on and is a suspect. But very quickly, his opinion of her changes and things go from there. And it's all centered around Christmas time. And about a third of the way into the novel, they do fly to the twins' hometown of Christmas, Colorado, where we meet up with our Christmas, Colorado crew. And the story continues from there. Anyways, it was intriguing and fun and compulsorily readable, obviously, because I read the whole thing today, basically in one sitting, between the audiobook and the physical book. I basically listened to the whole thing and kind of read along when I was home. But when I was out and about, I just listened, and it was great. I really liked it. So, solid 4, I would say. It's not the best thing ever or anything, and it's not perfect by any means, but it's solid and really fun, and I will reread it again just because it's fun. Give it a year, I'll have forgotten details and want to read it again. So, Snowbound at Christmas, I definitely think it's a good time and would recommend. So, that's all I'm going to read for Tistheseasonathon for today. I have a buddy read that I'm doing with Lindsay, so I still need to read the pages for that. We're reading The Guinevere Deception. And then I'm also working on Theft of Swords by Michael J. Sullivan. It's one that I have been working on for a long time. Well, I've had on my TBR a long time, and it's one of the ones that I want to get to by the end of the year. So I'm probably going to do some in that. So with that one, I also listen to the audiobook and read along. I've really been liking that. So I listen on like 2 to 3 times speed and then read along with it. And my comprehension seems to go up. So on a new fantasy, to me, I think that's a smart thing to do. So yeah, I don't know that I'll read any more for Tistheseasonathon today, but I will be reading today. And I already read for 25 Days of Manga today as well. Today's pick, because I'm just working on clearing out my TBR, is Phantom Tales of Night, if anyone is curious. So, I know, I'm just wandering around. So, that's it for day 1. I will see you tomorrow. Hey, so it's been a while since we've chatted. It is now Wednesday night, and I didn't get too much reading done for Tistheseasonathon yesterday, but I obviously dyed my hair. I had a photo shoot yesterday, so I wanted to make sure my hair was fresh and good. And so it's back to my Shoujo Princess Red, as I call it, where it's kind of a pinky red. I really love it. But I did start Somewhere Only We Know by Maureen Gu, and right now there's a big plot point that I'm not really loving. This definitely has a bit of a Roman holiday kind of feel, if you've seen that movie with Audrey Hepburn. It's fantastic. It was her debut work, and she's a genius in it. The setup of this is a 17-year-old girl who's a celebrity and a 18 to 19-year-old guy. She's out loose at midnight in Hong Kong. And she's like, I think she took sleep meds or something. So basically, she's intoxicated at midnight on the streets in a foreign country. This doesn't feel right. So that's my big critique of it right now, and I'm only 50 pages in. So we will see how this plays out in the next couple chapters. I might DNF this and get rid of it, because that is something that I'm not okay encouraging teenagers to do. We'll just put it that way. So if this depicts it that she really did make a mistake and that this isn't okay, then maybe. But if it's just kind of glossed over, we'll have an issue here. Okay, friends, I've made a decision. I'm not going to continue reading this book. And the reason for that is these characters are incredibly selfish, and I feel no attachment to them. Though it has vibes of Roman holiday, like I really enjoy, it's nowhere near as cute, nowhere near as charming, and I'm really sad about it. I really wanted to love this book. It sounded so cute, and it had a bunch of tropes that I really, really like. But this one just didn't do it for me, and I'm really sad because I love K-pop. And I'm just really sad because I wanted to love it, but I can't make myself keep reading it. That's that. Time to move on to the next book. I think I'm going to pick up 10 Blind Dates because it's going to be formulaic and enjoyable. And I'm just ready for some cute Christmas fluff. Okay, so I'm now 55 pages into 10 Blind Dates, and I'm liking it much better than Somewhere Only We Know. And this is going to be all sorts of adorable. So I'm sure everybody knows the premise of this by now if you've watched a Tistheseasonathon vlog. But essentially it's about this girl who ends up like trying to sneakily stay home from going to visit her sister for the holidays because her sister's pregnant, so her parents are going to visit, and so she tries to stay home because she wants to spend some more time with her boyfriend. So she shows up at this party, but overhears him telling his buddy that he wants to break up with her. She overhears it, obviously, and it becomes a big thing. So she shows up at her grandma's house, distraught. And so her big, giant, My Big Fat Greek Wedding style family decides they're all going to line her up on 10 blind dates over the period of time that she is visiting her grandparents. And I think it's like a couple hours away from where she lives. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not familiar with how Louisiana is laid out, but it's all based in Louisiana. So it's this southern big family, and it sounds like it's going to be so much fun. She's about to go on her first date, so I'm really excited to see how this plays out. It's pretty late though, so I'm not going to check in anymore tonight. I will tell you more of my thoughts in the morning, but I am going to keep reading for now. But I want to get in like my PJs and crawl in my bed and read until I fall asleep. So that's what I'm going to do, and we will chat tomorrow.
Hello, good morning. It is now Thursday, and I'm now halfway through 10 Blind Dates, and this is freaking adorable. So I believe she's gone on at least, how many dates has she gone on? She's on her free day, so it's Christmas Eve now. So she's gone on the first 4, I want to say, and oh my gosh. 100 Hands Harold had me rolling. Oh my gosh, I was laughing so stinking hard. And right now, I really like the guy she went on the first day with. And I kind of like the childhood friend, but I like the other guy better. The childhood friend is Wes. Why can't I remember the other guy's name right now? I can't remember his name for the moment, but I really like him. She's supposed to see him, I think, today in what I'm going to read. So I will continue to check in throughout. And it's my office day at work. I do have a bunch of paperwork I need to get done this morning, but outside of that, I just have time to read. So that's going to be my plan. I'm hoping to finish this, read my buddy read pages with Lindsay. I'm still reading the Guinevere Deception with her and loving it. So I've got this. So I've got the 150 pages left in this, the Guinevere Deception. And then I've got my next omnibus for manga for the 25 days that I would love to get read today. That one is Inuyasha on omnibus number 2 because I just finished number 1 yesterday. But yeah, that's kind of the plan. That's what's going on. I am bringing a backup book in case I have enough time. And that one's going to be the shop on Center Street, the shop on Main Street. The one with the lingerie shop. That one. That's the one I'm bringing with me. So yeah, anyways, I'm running a little bit late. That's why I know makeup's on. I got to get to work. So I will talk to you soon. Okay, so I binged the last half of this morning. It was so flippin' cute. This is just the quintessential, adorable YA Christmas romance. It's fun. It's full of shenanigans. I was laugh out loud, belly laughing through parts of this. It was just such a good time. Highly recommend checking it out if you're just looking for something sweet, fun, not necessarily brand new or earth-shattering. It is predictable, but it's fun. I really enjoyed it. I wanted it to play out slightly differently in the end, but I'm okay with how it went. So This is like a 4.5 stars. I rate holiday romances very differently than I really rate a lot of other things. But I enjoyed the writing so much, I do want to pick up other things by Ashley Elston. So if you know other Ashley Elston books that were enjoyable, leave them in the comments down below. And yes, so next book that I have for Tistheseasonathon is the Shop on Main Street, I believe it's called, or The Corner on Main Street. I don't remember which, but something like that. So that's going to be the next book that I read, but I put off doing my paperwork this morning, so I'm going to go do that, and I'll check in with you guys probably tonight. Hello. It is now Friday. So I have started into the Shop on Main Street. So in this one, in the beginning, we have our main character of Carlene, and she has found out that her husband has been cheating on her with someone who came and bought lingerie in her lingerie shop to go for a weekend to cheat on her husband, and she finds said underwear in her husband's briefcase after he gets home from the trip. And she makes a big scene at his work about it because apparently this is a girl that works with him and all sorts of things. And she's got people that she thought would be on her side who are now trying to like pray her into forgiveness and to forgive this cheating, gross person. And yeah, so that's where I'm at. I have mixed feelings about this particular plot because I have a feeling people are going to be trying to push her to take this cheating scumbag back. And I hope with all my heart that this is not where the story is headed, is that she's going to forgive this creepy, creepy dude, because the person that he cheated on her with is very much like 23 and he is in his 40s. Like, it is not okay. It's kind of gross. And yeah, and this girl came into the shop, admitted that it was a sugar daddy and all these things when he was doing those kind of things on his wife's dollar, it seems. So anyways, I'm really interested to see where the next little bit of this goes. And again, if, by the 100-page mark, I don't like the direction it's headed, there's a good chance I'll put this one down, just because there are certain things I know I can't handle, and forgiving a cheating husband is one of those. Because in real life, that's not what I would ever encourage anybody to do, because the chances of it happening again are very high. So that's a personal choice. There are lots of people who deal with cheating and make it work, and they forgive each other, and they do just fine. But I could never get that trust back. So that's a personal thing. So if I find that that's where this book is headed, I'm probably going to have to put it down because I'm not going to agree with or enjoy the direction of the story. So like I say, I'm only really like 30-ish pages in, so I don't have enough information to know if that's the direction it's really going to go or not. Part of me hopes this just frees this character and that she just goes on her own and doesn't need a relationship. That's where I'm hoping it's going to go. But with a bunch of people around her trying to already tell her, you've got to forgive him, blah, blah, blah. There's two sides to every story, because the guy's trying to say, oh, well, I only cheated on you because you were busy with your business. And as a business owner, that's the most annoying thing I've heard. So anyways, that's where I'm at. I will tell you more when I've read more. Hi, friends. It is now Saturday. It's been a minute since we chatted. So right now I'm about halfway through the Shop on Main Street, which I am enjoying. They've introduced one of the people in town who's interested in our character in the middle of a divorce, but he wants to wait until she's divorced before they really pursue anything. But he'd like to call and talk to her and get to know her again as adults. So I'm liking the direction it's going. They're taking a revenge via a chili cook-off route to this story. So it's fun, and there's several little old ladies involved that are cooking chili, and it's fantastic. And this is definitely one of those southern towns where if you do anything slightly different than the main religion, you are like blasphemous and a sinner and all that kind of stuff. So that is very prevalent in this book. So if that's not something you can handle reading very well, definitely give this one a pass. But I
I find it irritating and endearing at the same time. It's a really interesting dynamic for me. I know I like Carolyn Brown's writing, but I do think I prefer the title that I've read, her Longhorn Canyon series that's out from Forever. This one's out from Source. And I do have to say I prefer that over this one by quite a long shot. Though I do really like the characters in this one. They're pretty nuanced. And yeah, so that's good. So I will be getting back to that. But I did read a couple of manga and I just wanted to throw them in here because I can. So I read volume 4 of Witch Hat Atelier, which this series is beautiful and stunning and I love it. It's about a little girl learning all about the magic of her world and the friends that she meets along the way who are also learning magic. So it's got a little bit of that magical school vibe without actually being a magical school. It's just kind of like it would be like Hogwarts homeschool style, I guess is the easiest way I could compare it to something. But it's beautiful in a Ghibli style art, and I just really love it. And then I also read volume 2 of Skullface Bookseller Honda-san. This is about someone that works at a bookstore, so it's all about all the different bookstore shenanigans, and there's lots of there's stuff about erotica manga in this particular one, so I found it very entertaining and definitely understand certain reactions to certain things. So this is a lot of fun. If you haven't tried this series, I do recommend it. So now that I've given you kind of a catch up, I'm going to go ahead and dive back into this and see how much more I can get read. I've got a couple of hours. We have some friends coming over for dinner, and I need to start cooking dinner at about 6, and it's a little after 4 right now. So I've got a couple hours. Let's see how much of the 150-ish pages I've got left I can get to in that time. Okay, so I finished The Shop on Main Street, and I have to say I liked it. This ended up definitely being more of a, family, small town drama kind of thing. And there's a little bit of romance, nothing smutty. Well, there's some smutty, but nothing overly, graphic. So if you don't like the graphic smuts, then you're definitely okay in this one. But it's a lot of drama. There's a lot of, praying for your soul, religious kind of things, just like in a small Texas town. And so I ended up enjoying this more than I thought I would. I would say it's like a 3.5 stars. The writing was solid. I really liked it. I don't love these characters as much as I love the ones in her other series. So I do think I will stick with her other series from now on. But this was really fun. If you wanted to give something like this a try, I would recommend it. And yes, it does center around a plus size main female character. Carlene is a size 16 and opened this lingerie shop because plus size women deserve pretty undergarments too. And I loved that theme. And, her weight is kind of brought up throughout the book, kind of thrown in her face by her ex and her ex's mother mostly, but all of her people come to defend her and she's comfortable in her skin for the most part. But when all this happens, she does start to doubt herself, but there's a longtime family friend who kind of enters the picture and kind of helps center her again. And so I thought that was done really well. So yeah, 3.5 star. This is one that I would read again and decide if I want to keep on my shelf after reading it again. So yeah, that's it for tonight. It's a little after 10. I read until I needed to cook the dinner for when our friends came over, and then they left about an hour ago, and then I finished up. So it took me about 3 hours to read the rest. This one, for some reason, I was reading it slower. I don't know why. I don't even have a legitimate reason. Sometimes I read them really fast, and sometimes I read them slow. This was a slow read for me, which is okay. I'm trying to slow down my reading pace a little bit because of things I want to accomplish in 2020. So I'm okay with that. I want to take a little more time and absorb a little more, I think, is really what I'm coming after. So anyway, that is that one. So I just have one book left, and that is My Kind of Wonderful by Jill Shalvis. So that is the one that I will start and hopefully finish tomorrow. Hello. So it is Sunday afternoon. I haven't checked in at all yet today, but I did get my 25 days video done and up. I am currently reading My Kind of Wonderful and enjoying it.
I'm 76 pages in at this point. It's really quite sweet. We've got a girl who seems to have overcome cancer or some or other sort of illness that would require chemotherapy, and she lost all her hair and it's growing back. So she has a head of blonde peach fuzz. And what happens in the beginning of this book, she's skiing on a mountain and gets kind of lost and turned around and all sorts of things. And the person she calls Mountain Hottie, aka leader of the ski patrol for this particular resort and mountain, ends up finding her, and they have a moment, and she has now been requested by his family to do a mural of representing their family on the outside wall of the lodge, like the main lodge, to prove that the family's not going anywhere because they've run into some other problems. This one is tied into Second Chance Summer that I read earlier this year and really enjoyed. So this is the same family, so it's fun to see the characters again, and it's a good time so far. I'm really liking it. So I'm going to keep reading. I'll check in after I've read more. All right, so My Kind of Wonderful is officially finished, and it was a really good read. I ended up really enjoying this. It's more winter than Christmas because it takes place during ski season at a lodge. And yeah, it was just really, really good. I really liked it. This coupling had a lot going for him. We've got a male character who carries a lot of guilt for decisions he's made throughout his life and how he just buries himself in work and pushes people away. And then we have a girl who has just won a 10-year battle with cancer, and she continues to pass her screenings, and she has kind of a bucket list that she wants to do. And one of the things is to paint a mural, and that's how she ends up working at the lodge, because she paints like a family tree style mural for the family that owns the lodge. And, you know, Mountain Hottie, as she calls him, is the one that is the male romantic interest. That's not his name. His name's Hudson. But it ends up, it's really fun. It takes place in Colorado. It's really a pretty setting. The coupling is really good. And I think the ups and downs they go through within their dating relationship is very realistic. Like the things that they're feeling, the feelings within the relationship, the what ifs, the questions. I hate that miscommunication was such a big plot device in this particular one. So it's only a 4-star because it is miscommunication, which isn't one of my favorite tropes. But the rest of the book really does stand out. So it's one I would read again for sure. Gonna keep it on my shelf. It's a good one. And I would recommend checking out Jill Shalvis because everything I've read by her I've really enjoyed. I do plan on reading a lot more of her stuff. I've got a bind-up of hers on my shelf that I plan on getting to soon as well. But yes, I ended up really enjoying this one. So thanks again to my friends at Forever for sending it my way. So I've got one more thing I want to read before I wrap up this vlog, but it's about dinner time, so I'm going to hurry and take care of dinner stuff. And after dinner, I will quickly read that, and then we will wrap up everything for this video. All right, friends, so let's wrap up Tistheseasonathon here really quick. I read 6 things during this week, and then I DNF'd 1 thing. I did read some other manga as well, but you can check out my previous video to see what those are. So the first thing I have here is 1 volume of manga that is counting for a challenge for Tistheseasonathon as well, and that is volume 5 of Your Lie in April. This is also accounting for a read that has to do with music. This is a manga series about teenagers who are classically trained in music and who compete classically. So we're primarily following this boy here who has lost the ability to hear the notes of the piano due to some childhood trauma where he has some PTSD involved. And so this is about his journey after he meets this kind of weird violin girl, as he calls her, and they kind of start to work together on pieces, and it's kind of just about their journey going through life. It's beautiful, it's stunning. There's a beautiful anime attached to this as well, but the manga for me hits a little bit different than the anime, and that's not a bad thing for me. That's a good thing because it allows me to kind of feel the things I need to feel. But if you're not one who necessarily does that easily as you read, you might prefer the anime because the music definitely does help you emote at the proper moments as you watch the anime. So know that. There's a lot involved in this particular series, and it's really just one of my all-time favorites, so definitely check it out. Next, we have the book that I read completely today, and that is My Kind of Wonderful by Jill Shalvis. This is a mountain, Colorado romance put out by Jill Shalvis, where she's following kind of the same family, the Kincaid family, and this is about a girl who has survived cancer and she's got a bucket list, and one of the things is to paint a mural somewhere. And she's recruited by the Kincaid family to paint a mural on the side of their mountain lodge at their resort. And in doing so, she meets Hudson Kincaid, and she refers to him as Mountain Hottie, so you can tell where that is headed. This was really good. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed all the notes that it hit. And considering it dealt with a terminally ill character after the fact, like after she became cancer-free, I found that interesting. Sometimes with sicklet, as I call it, where someone is sick or terminally ill or things like that, it can hit weird for me, but this one did not. So I definitely want to just put that out there because that is something that some people might not enjoy about the book. But I ended up giving it 4 stars. I really enjoyed this read. It was compulsorily readable, and I really like all of the characters involved in this series, so that made it a big win for me. Next, we have Snowbound at Christmas, which is another Christmas Colorado novel, and I really love these Christmas Colorado novels. They're some of my favorite Christmas romances that I read, and I would definitely recommend the series as a whole. This one was I believe it was a republish, so this is not brand new. There is an audiobook, and I enjoyed listening to the audiobook as well. And so, yeah, we're dealing with Kat and Grayson and their interactions together. And you get to see people from the other Christmas Colorado books. So I would definitely start at the first one, which is, I believe it's called Welcome to Christmas, the book. But yes, this is a fun series. Definitely check it out. Then we have The Shop on Main Street by Carolyn Brown. This one I ended up giving 3.5 stars. This one was a little bit slower of a read for me. This wasn't a compulsorily readable book for me. I enjoyed the writing, as I always do with Carolyn Brown. These characters were a little less lovable than her Longhorn Canyon series for me, but I still ended up enjoying the story. We start off with a cheating husband getting caught, and his wife happens to be a size 16 curvy girl who owns a lingerie shop called Bless My Bloomers, because we are in the South. And Carlene is amazing, and I really like her character. You see her go through the struggle of, yes, he cheated, but do I really want to divorce him? There's lots of religion and things involved in all of this as well. And it's very much a family drama. On the back when it says Steel Magnolias meets the Divine Secrets of the Yaya Sisterhood, that is definitely a mashup that you're going to feel in this story. It's very dramatic, so if you don't like overly dramatic things, this is not going to be your book. But I found it to be a good time. I think I would enjoy it more upon a reread. And there's another book involved in this series that I think I'm going to check out, because I think that will help flush out these characters for me. So that's kind of my plan for that. But yes, I enjoyed it. If it sounds interesting at all to you, definitely pick it up. And then we have the dreaded DNF, which happens to be Somewhere Only We Know by Maureen Gu, which is why I ended up reading Your Lie in April, because this was going to be my music prompt. I haven't been telling you what these prompts match, but oh well, I'm just telling you everything I read this week, so here we go. But yes, in Somewhere Only We Know, we are dealing with a K-pop star who's 17, who ends up on the streets of Hong Kong at midnight, doped up on her medications, and this paparazzi kind of guy, not working necessarily to take pictures of her, but of other people, ends up finding her. He's like 20, I want to say. But anyways, he kind of helps her out and stuff. And it's supposed to be, I gathered, kind of a Roman holiday kind of thing. But I didn't really care for either of the characters. And there were some really big safety things that were huge issues for me with this one. So I ended up putting it down about 100 pages in. And this is one I definitely won't be keeping, and I won't be trying again because those things are not okay to me. I know some people really enjoyed this book, but I could not, in good conscience, like, recommend this book just because of those safety matters. I don't think teens should think it's okay to be wandering the streets of Hong Kong at midnight. That is not okay. And the way things play out with that situation, it made it seem like it wasn't a big deal at all, but it was a huge deal. So I just in good conscience can't. Next, we have definitely one of my favorite reads from the week, and that was 10 Blind Dates by Ashley Elston. This was the group read for Tistheseasonathon, and I am so glad they picked it. I loved this from start to finish. It could have gone one of two ways, and I was okay with either way. For me, this one went the cliche route, so I ended up giving it 4 stars instead of 5. But I was out loud belly laughing as I read this. The shenanigans that happen with these blind dates are so flipping fun. So definitely, if you have not checked this one out and you're looking for a fun holiday read, I would recommend this one. And then last but not least, I didn't talk about it too much in this vlog, but I did want to mention that I read the Guinevere Deception. This was my buddy read with Lindsay this week, and we both loved and adored this. We are both so excited for book 2. If you like Arthurian legends or retellings, the way this comes across is absolutely fantastic. Highly recommend. Because it's so short, I don't really want to tell you anything other than we are in Guinevere's perspective, and we get hints of all sorts of Arthurian legend kind of things, and there's some LGBT rep in here for those who look for that. It's really good, and the LGBT stuff is like legitimately there. It's not just like a side character, like it's there. And I promise this is good. I really enjoyed the read. I ended up giving this 4.5 stars. Definitely one of my favorite things I've read. And yeah, it's really, really good. Kirsten White's writing when she's doing these kinds of retellings. I really enjoyed her Conqueror's Saga, and this is kind of on that same level for me, and I really enjoyed it. So anyways, guys, that is it for this video. You guys will be seeing this tomorrow morning as of when I'm filming this clip. So yeah, I really enjoyed my reads for the week. Tistheseasonathon is always fun. I participated last year as well. And for my favorite holiday treat, that is a Snickerdoodle hot chocolate from Starbucks. I end up really enjoying those when I need something warm this time of year. So if you have not tried those, definitely give it a check out if you like sweet things, obviously. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.